Peggy 7.
In Disney Epic Mickey, story is critical because it's the thing that gives importance to all the player choices and player actions.
You're actually being taken through a story, but it's a story of your own telling.
Disney's always been about telling a story, getting people interested, getting an emotion going, getting a laugh going, and the game pulls that off.
It's not just you interacting with a bunch of pixels. It's you interacting with characters that even you've forgotten about as Mickey Mouse. So story is what provides that kind of context. It makes what the player does important. The birth of the idea actually came from Disney itself. A lot of people think that I went to Disney and said, give me Mickey Mouse, and that's not the way it happened at all. I sat down with Disney talking about a fantasy game and a science fiction game I wanted to do, and they were, not particularly interested in it, frankly. Instead, they asked me if I was interested in doing a Mickey Mouse game, and my eyes opened up and my jaw hit the ground, and I said, well, yeah. And then all these Disney executives, it was so cute, they said, well, we have a concept. Is it okay if we pitch it to you? And I'm sitting there going, well, yeah, sure. and they did, and it was genius. It included some of the foundational elements that are still part of the game today. The idea of a world for forgotten and rejected characters, bringing Oswald back. All that came from within Disney. The key to game stories is to recognize the place of story in games. It's not about an author telling a story to a reader. It's not about a director conveying information to a passive audience that just interprets what they're seeing on the screen. It's about providing situations, problems that are personally significant to players that they then get to decide how to interact with.
With Disney animation, that was one of the things that was extremely important to Walt Disney, was that it's the story that ties everything together. That's the journey that the audience, the player goes on, and that's what we tried to tie into. It really runs core and parallel with Warren's philosophy of Playstyle Matters, because you're playing as Mickey Mouse.
Making sure that we had a believable and impactful story throughout the game made so much of this game happen.
If story is about significance, about making player choices significant and interesting, you have to have something more going on than just beat the bad guy. In this case, I knew I wanted to tell a story about family. When you have Mickey and his older brother, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, as your central characters, that's a brother story, and so I knew I wanted to play with that. Even though what you're doing is, you're deciding whether to erase your enemies or befriend your enemies by using paint, the real story is about you reconnecting with your brother. It's about how important are family and friends to you. But that's the key. It's how important is it to you? It's about, hey, how do you feel about this? You tell me through the play choices that you make. That's what makes a great game story. It's about this dialogue between, me in this case, and the team, and every person who plays.